Get in, nerds! We are playing Victoria 3. So, we are... Oh my gosh, what did I say I was going... I was going to take over Constantine. That's right. That's right. I'm a smart cat who knows how to play video games. Alright, doesn't look like anyone's going to stop me against maybe Egypt. Tunis might. But, I might be able to get something useful from them. I'm not sure if I'll be able to conquer them because they are a subject of the Ottoman Empire. You might not be able to conquer a subject's last state, but we'll see. 15.7 infamy is going to be a lot, but it's not going to take me over the limit. So let's go ahead and do it. Huh. I have a fifth army. Curious. I don't desire a fifth army. Let's grab the Army of Africa. We'll put them on the front. They should be completely sufficient for this task. Oh my goodness, they're all the way over in Eritrea. Well, that's not ideal. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I really would not like to mobilize two armies for this if I can avoid it. But obviously they are way over here in Eritrea, so that might simply be the state of affairs. Okay. So, I think when we're about half, it was originally like 112 or something. So when we hit half, we'll figure out if we need to put another force in there. Obviously this is going to mess up our cash flow, but it is what it is. I'm not worried about that. And maybe we'll get ourselves a little bit of private healthcare. We'll see. 78 days. Alright, we're doing... I'm going to need to mobilize another army, aren't I? Well, I progressed to drafting. Wonderful. I'm very pleased with that outcome. And we're just about at half. And they are at 65 days. I'm going to cut it really, really close, but I think I'm actually okay. Anyway, it's not the end of the world if I've got a naval invade back in there. So this is, this is largely my fault for not putting them where we wanted to be. Interesting. So, so Tunis decided not to do a thing. I can't add any war goals to delay the onset of the war, so I think I'm just gonna have to wait for my my troops to get into position, which is fine. Again, not a problem. And if I need to invade back in there, I will. It's not an issue. United States are going after Absaroka, which is this group of people here, this native nation. Take a quick look at the Divided Monarchies, just make sure we're still good to go here. It looks like we're still good to go here. I'm feeling pretty rock solid. I'm really glad I took that -1 from events thing for the Bonapartists, because that's been really paying incredibly solid dividends. 6 days. Let's get one of our navies into contact with the enemy navy over here. And we made it to the front just in time. We are absolutely winning, even though we're out here blundering, which is just fine. Maybe I'll see if I can manipulate my armies to provide myself with a little bit of extra Orleanism support. You know, I got a lot of these armies actually led by one fella who's old. Except for this guy. This guy's fine. So yeah, let's bring some more generals in. Do I have an Orleanist? I largely do not. I don't have a single solitary one. Can I find one who's unpopular, at least? This guy is a Bonapartist and unpopular, and he's got a good trait, so let's go ahead and grab him. Let's see. Bonapartist here is an Orleanist. Give this guy a little bit of a promotion. He's not popular, but he'll do. And then... Can I get another Orleanist? No. Oops, all Bonapartists. But this guy's a good artillery commander, and he's unpopular, so he'll be fine. And then the first corps... No, this guy's at least a moderate, so we'll put him in as a substitute. I've unfortunately spent a bunch of bureaucracy doing that, but it is what it is. I can afford to have a little bit more. Law progressed to voting. Oh wow! Oh, we're really going forward fast here. Auvergne-Limousin still a little bit low on governing capacity, so let's snag that, and then we'll do one more in the capital. Oh wow, the capital is really we're actually quite far out ahead. In terms of the capital's governance capacity, but that's fine. That's not a problem whatsoever. Again, this should give us enough to be able to snag the institution level we're going to need to actually get healthcare once we've got healthcare. I'm going to need a little bit more colonial affairs if I want to do colonization, which I do. I may have been going out ahead of myself kind of fast in terms of developing my institutions, but I just gotta have institutions. Alright, there's Constantine. How much longer do we have a truce with Mascara? Not much longer. 14 months, so just over a year. Well, Great Britain has unfortunately declared a rivalry, which is a shame. To Sicily's damaging relations. Well, that's also unfortunate. You know what? I shouldn't have rivaled them back, because I've been improving relations over here. And I almost got us up to a good amount. You know, I'll continue to. They'll have to damage relations if they want to mess with me. And that'll be funny. We'll make them pay the influence. Okay, so how much are we going to need in order to snag Mascara? I think it's going to be like 11 infamy. So I can't do too much over here, because I'm only barely going to get there. I got a lot of influence to play with. I'm doing just fine in terms of the disordered monarchy. I think things are going pretty well on those terms. Let's see if we get ourselves some private healthcare. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding private health insurance, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the industrialists, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Private health insurance will be on everyone's lips now, 10% success chance. Sure puts the industrialists in a good light, 10% stronger interest group for the industrialists. Or, let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience, extra prestige. I'm actually going to go with that last one. I'm below Great Britain, but only by about a third. If I can get half again as prestigious as I currently am, I can get up to the top there, and that'll be nice. Alright, so I finished out the Conquest of Constantine. What else do I need to get done here? I'm still doing a lot of industry management. Let's continue to go to Iron Frame. We took some construction sectors over here, which means iron's going to continue to stay expensive in our market for the time being, but that's what it is. Steel is expensive, but we're fixing that by building up one more level of steel mills. Still going pretty slowly here, but again, it is what it is. We're going to some motor industries. The Great Sioux Nation is going after the United States. That's fun. You get them, USA. Hey, Austria, are you sure you don't want a defensive pact? I'm leery of giving them investment rights. I gave a lot of people investment rights in my last run, and I think I wound up with like a more, with like a little bit too much, kind of an underdeveloped investment pool. Can I make them any promises about goods? Not really. Law commitments, maybe? They really don't care about much. I guess they like my laws as they are. Well, it is what it is. The death of Charles X. Charles X, ruler of France before the July Revolution, that's the revolution that installed our man Louis Philippe d'Orléans in the throne. King Charles X, ruler of France before the July Revolution, has passed away whilst in exile in Austria. Supporters of the Legitimists have petitioned for a return of his body to France for burial. The king was dead, but few were ready to cry the old refrain. Thousands called for the exiled king's body to return to France for interment. Tradition, they said. Thousands of others swore oaths to burn the corpse. Cholera, they said. He waived his right in 1830. 2% of middle strata pops in the whole country become more loyal. Or, we can make the effort to heal the rifts of July. 10% of pops in the whole country become more radical. Increase the progress of the Legitimists by 40. I'm going to go with that first one. That's just good sense for an Orleanist run. Is that? It's like 25k more loyalists. It's not great, but it's not terrible. This is not a bad ratio, but it's not a great ratio either. I got my one democratic agitator here. And Divided Monarchy still looks like it's going well. So House 4.7, 4.8 here. We've got 180 to go. So 4.7 per month is like 9.5 per 2 months, like 17 per 4 months, and 180. So that's really, it's like 3.5 or so years or something like that. I don't know. You're not here to listen to me do math in my head wrong. The Egyptian Ottoman crisis. The Ottoman Empire's attempt to take back the Levant from Egypt has become an international incident. Our involvement may tip the balance of power in the region. At 30 minutes past midday came a messenger with a single wax-sealed envelope. Chill winds followed in his stumbling, breathless gait. Every other general and advisor gathered around the king, cried for decorum. The messenger brought it forward with a choking gasp about its origin. Egypt. The Ottomans were coming for Egypt. We need to keep an eye on the region, as declared interest in Arabia, or we have no interest in this crisis. I'll declare an interest. That's fine. It's not going to let me participate in the current situation, but it will let me get involved in future situations, and I do so love getting involved in situations. Relations with Great Britain are continuing to increase. I think maybe I'll not be rivals with them, but I am getting a nice fat bonus of extra influence due to my rivalry, so you know. We'll keep doing what we're doing. Plus we're about to have Quinine pretty soon. You know, let's get colonial affairs moving up. I'm gonna need to build up a bunch more government. Okay. Oop. What the? I think this guy was the guy that did a play for power, and then he immediately died, causing the event to disappear. That's extremely funny. Alright, private health insurance it is. We have a 5th Army. Not sure what's going on with that. We have a 3rd fleet. This fleet can be disbanded. Send them to the Schedule du Nord. Oh no! We need to promote this fella. Get a little bit more capacity in here. Now, 2nd Corps needs a new leader. Do I have anyone who's of the right ideology? Doesn't look like it. You're at least unpopular, though. Maybe... Yeah, you're a moderate. We'll bring you in. Cool. Alright, we're good to go. We are good to go. Cash flow is obviously... We're really down bad financially, but, you know... Could be worse. Just lasts another 8 months. Alright, so kind of back half of the year is when we're going to be able to snag Mascara. And that'll be just fine. And that'll hopefully complete the Conquest of Algeria, which will get us a nice little event. Standard of living is pretty alright. Britain's colonizing the Niger Delta. I don't think they're going anywhere faster than we are, really. Except for down here, because they're focusing down here. But hopefully, if we can get Quinine before they can, we can kind of move forward. Do I have the necessary interests declared? Yes, I do. And anywhere else I can colonize? Oh, right, I can colonize to At. In these areas. I think these areas are... Yeah, these are areas I can target. I'll pay for the building of a port. Now, this state is a... Oh no, these are just regular malaria states, so I can colonize both. Alright, so we'll build colonies there as well. And then Sahara and North Africa will colonize as well. That'll lead to a little starvation, but, you know, what's colonization without a little starvation, right? So the Russians and the Brits are fighting, which is interesting. They've sort of snaked in here, which I don't love. But they've still got plenty of progress they're going to need to make before they can overcome my my proximity to these other countries. Which again, hopefully I can start doing some. Once I'm done with Mascara, I'll do some conquest over here. Be able to snag everything I want to snag. A scuffle of houses. Léonce Paraguay, a devoted Bonapartist, has carried out a series of verbal attacks and accusations of opportunism against the leading Orleanist cause. I presume you understand your summons today, monsieur. These delays have gone on long enough. Of course, His Majesty's will be done, and with the utmost care and alacrity. But surely, given the history of our glorious nation, should it not be His Majesty's interest for his decrees to be accepted by all? We are not amused by our games, Paraguay. Urge him to be silent lest he escalate too far. Decrease the progress of the Orleanists by 15. Or, a fiery and entertaining display. Decrease the progress of the Orleanists by 25. Léonce Paraguay gains unscrupulous competitor. Making him become less popular is nothing useful to me. So I'm going to do the first one. Unfortunately, that's going to cost me some progress. Not too much. About 3 months worth. Just shy. But it's still not ideal. I did finally finish my switchover in the healthcare system, so that means I'm going to need to build up a little bit more governing capacity. I didn't think about this very intelligently, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and build up this stuff. I'm going to throw them... I'm going to intersperse the government sectors with the iron mines, and then we'll slowly get them built up, and hopefully by the time we finish... researching quinine, we'll have enough governing capacity to get our colonization speed up to a reasonable level. Beautiful. God's will. Hippolyte Murat of the Catholic Church has been seen preaching in favor of the Resistance Party, convinced that their victory has been foreseen in God's plans. Do you think that God would not have a plan for our pious nation? Of course he has a plan. There must always be a plan. I've seen it, let me tell you. I've seen it as clear as I see you all right now, just before my eyes. And who else to lead this adrift government, other than those who can clearly read that plan? Who are we to stand against God's will? Stronger Catholic Church. Shame the nation is not ruled by God then. Hippolyte Murat loses a bunch of popularity. But surely God wants the Republican Party to win. Extra momentum for the Republicans. I'm going to go for the last one. The Republicans are in my governing coalition. And we are in another election. Let's see. It looks like the Republican Union is headed up by the rural folk. They're probably going to lose a lot of votes. So that's interesting. Democratic Alliance and the Republican Party are my governing coalition. They're likely to take a majority, but only a very narrow one. Depending on how the election goes, we might be able to swing that way. We'll see the general structure of things. Looking good so far. How's iron? Iron is finally kind of going down in price, which is really nice. It's June, so we're getting near to the point where we can take Mascara. The good old days. When invited to give a speech on behalf of the Resistance Party, Germain Chartier began extolling the virtues of a strong home, strong borders, and strong men. The public reception was mixed. Truly, I dare say, the men are no longer men. They are coddled with books, as if they're any substitute for a real adventure. Their mothers swaddle them in cotton and silk, only for them to be henpecked by their wives, and heaven forbid they take a pint of beer, one sip, and they need their fathers to carry them home. Won't someone think of the children? Extra momentum to the Resistance Party. Or old ways for older times and even older fools. Reduce momentum to the Resistance Party. Germain Chartier loses some popularity. He's a Democrat aligned with the armed forces. He's not that important for our politics, but reducing the momentum of the Resistance Party is good. So I'm going to say that second one. And that is going to further empower our governing coalition of industrialists and intelligence. Hopefully they won't make me try to make me do some kind of republic, because I don't wish to do a republic. Okay, we're getting there in colonial affairs. Obviously, this is not the most cash-efficient thing, but it will eventually be the right plan. The United States are fighting the Pawnee people. Oh, I didn't look through my my interest groups to see their abilities. Les Beaux-Arts. What does this mean? Oh, it's just the baseline intelligence one. It's extra prestige. Let me see. That's right. It's the industrialists in France that have the extra ones. Engines of progress is a default one. Tax avoidance is a default one. But the top buff is ventilate, unify, beautify, which is extra prestige and state construction efficiency. Very nice. Very good ability to have. Let me see. I think all the... Oh, interesting. I think the petite bourgeoisie have some different stuff. Haute finance, reduced loan interest rate for their regular one. I think that's just a buff of the normal version, which is oh my gosh, what are they called? Government bonds. Oh man. I apologize for this noise. And then we got Master of the House. Reduce state penalties from turmoil, extra loyalists from political movements. That's interesting. Hippolyte Murat endorses the legitimist cause. Hippolyte Murat pledged the Catholic Church in full to the legitimist cause. Whilst ambitious, his statements have aroused controversy, both within the Catholic Church and without. Hippolyte Murat, my heart for Bourbon. An auspicious day arrives for House of Bourbon. Prolific royalist and outspoken pundit for the Catholic Church, Hippolyte Murat voices support for the House's ascent to Charlemagne's throne. The people of Paris were quick to shout both support and slander for Murat's announcement this morning. Continued on page 2. He had best preserve decorum, increase the progress of the Legitimists by 10. Hippolyte Murat gains respectable partisanship, extra popularity. Or what good is a reputation if it cannot be spent? Increase the progress by 25, but the progress of the Legitimists will decrease by 1 every month. I'm going to go with the second one once again. Again, this is going to get them a chunk right now, but it's going to further reduce their gain in comparison to the Orleanists, who are now going up at a rate of about 3 times the speed of the other houses. And with us about 100 points ahead of the Legitimists, and even more like 150 of the Bonapartists, I think we're in a very good spot here. Here we go. Pressing issues. The ongoing election has drawn attention to the platforms of the various contending parties. Across France, the electorate debates which party is worth trusting with the next term in government. The first thing I take into account is the safety of my investments. If a party would represent chaos, I may safely discount it. The stockbroker tapped his cigar in the rim of the ashtray and continued. The journalist took notes as he spoke. How will the incoming government's tariff policy affect my needed imports? Do they wish to impose taxes, which may spur uncertainty? Do they wish to embark upon military adventures? Would these adventures be profitable, or would they be ruinous? There is much to consider. So, again, we're mostly aligning with the Democratic Alliance and Republican Party. The Republican Party are currently leading. They've got an Orleanist in charge. The Democratic Alliance, though, are not leading as much, and they've got a higher baseline strength. So I think I'm going to strengthen them. This event just lets me throw 30% momentum the way of any party I wish. So I'm going to go with the Democratic Alliance. That is going to give them significantly more momentum. And that should help their position in the upcoming vote. Now, I've still got a truce with Mascara for another 3 weeks. So that's just fine. I can go ahead and wait on that. So how is that affecting our election results? All right, we're at 29% for the Democratic Alliance, 25% for the Republican Union. So at this point, I feel extremely interesting. Something happened here that dropped the percentages expected of both the Resistance Party and the Democratic Alliance. That's quite curious. I'm not sure what to make of that. Alright, this should be good. Alright, so if I go to conquer Oran, Britain might step in, but I don't think they will. I'll be just shy of my, my 25 infamy. So let's do that. Alright, we're close now. I got a 5th French army that I do not need. Mobilize the Army of Africa. Send them in. And again, I don't think anyone's going to step in my way here. And I feel extremely confident of that. Mascara refuses demands. What are you going to do? Obviously, again, this is going to make my cash flow a little rough. And indeed, I'm paying a lot in interest. So there may come a time soon when I need to write the finances of the ship of state. But for now, we're going to continue to do conquests and such like as that. I don't want to put a stop to building, but I may have to. So, there's the election, and we are holding with a good solid, with a moderate majority, with the Democratic Alliance and the Republican Union. I can't get any legitimacy with just these two, so we'll leave things where they are for now, and that will be just fine. Now we have an event here called Designer Clothes. This is Dolpha, Meeg, etc. They are finally reached the amount of prestige, or the amount of prosperity, where they can start producing prestige goods. So, what we need is to become one of in the top 3 of clothes producers. So that will mean needing to expand our light industry, and so we'll work on that once we're done with heavy industry, which is to say the iron mines that we need to continue to build stuff. I'm just going to read this text here. Dolphus Meeg, etc. has established itself as an important actor with a... No, I don't think this is etc. I think Etsia must be the name of a person because it's capitalized here. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. Dolphus Meeg, etc. has established itself as an important actor within our economy. The company seeks to leverage its current prosperity to develop its own brand of designer clothes. If successful, it will be able to expand its competitiveness within the global clothes market. So, that's what that event is about, and if we can start doing that, we can produce designer clothes, and that'll make us all excellent. That's right, I got the capacity to establish another company, so let's take a short look at that. No, I want to save this one for a colonial company, which I might have in here. Just doing a quick pass through here. Perhaps I am not right. Well, this one's clearly a French country. It's Schneider Etsia, so maybe I was right about the whole etc. thing. Ooh, manufactured des armes de Saint-Etienne. She was really, really good. They got a prestige good, and they got army offense and defense as their thing. That seems extremely strong. Golly. What do I need for them? I need to have the bolt-action rifle researched. Well, that's going to be a while before them, so I don't need to worry about that. Maple & Co. Oh, that's the home counties. I'm not going to take over that state. At least not anytime soon. Bohemian Crystal. High-grade explosives. That's interesting. This one we only need a bunch of explosives plants in the French Low Countries. Agricultural Fellowship, fine grain. Oh, interesting. Also, Lorraine Steel Syndicate. I could get producing refined steel really, really early, which would be nice. I mean, De Beers would be awesome to have, but I need a bunch of gold mines in South Africa. So that's off the table for now. Ooh, Rhone gold combine. I need 5 levels of gold mines. Well, so this is definitely an option. And there's Quinine. Excellent. Now, do I have a colonial company? That's really the question. I could potentially make a Suez Canal company. That's nice. Because I'm not quite sure how to do that. Maybe I'll look that up between episodes. I'm taking a lot of time here that I don't need to be taking. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. All right. Nope, doesn't look like it. So, reduce radicalism for discriminated pops. That's pretty strong, but I need to be holding Lebanon for it. Curious. Okay, we're almost at the bottom here. Alright, anyway. Doesn't seem like any of this is the colonial company that I'm thinking about. So. Spain wants trade privileges with us in exchange for investment rights and military access. You know what? I'll be happy to invest in you, Spain. Let's negotiate. I don't particularly desire military access. I would be delighted with trade privileges in you, however. Can't get them to take on my debt. Plus 39. It used to say what percentage they would say yes. Let's offer this. There's the war kicking off. Hey, we did it. Now we'll be better friends with Spain. So the war is kicking off. We are making progress in our battles here. And this will hopefully finish out the Conquest of Algeria journal entry. And that will be just fine. So we'll go to maybe the middle of the year. Trying to make this happen. French Algiers raided. Marauders flying the flag of Mascara have raided our settlements in Algiers, slaughtering both a French garrison and several high-profile collaborators. It was a feint, sir. We thought we were chasing a small raiding party, as only some cattle had been reported as stolen, but the moment we entered the ravine, a cacophony of shouts and gunshots erupted. The captain was the first to fall, and everything else went to hell thereafter. From there on, it's just a haze of fire and butchery, sir. Rebuild, their day will come. Bunch of penalties to Algiers. Reduced migration traction. Reduced wheat field and livestock ranch throughput. Extra mortality. And deteriorates relations with Mascara. Or General Murat is responsible. Call up a tribunal. He's a moderate, tactful woodland combat expert. I don't need to fire him, so we'll do the first one. I can't obviate the penalties either way. The heirs of the Grande Armée. The good spirits of French soldiers in our current conflict brings rise to memories of the triumphant armies of Napoleon I. The Bonapartist cause has enjoyed an increase in popularity among the front lines. Stirrings among the people and soldiery alike rumbled through the streets. From the dampest inn corners to the trodden fields, the memory of Napoleon's first decisive victories rouse all. France's grand regiments might once again march through Paris at the order of a new Bonaparte. Patronize the soldiers for their good showing, stronger armed forces, slightly increase the progress of the Bonapartists, or this bodes well for the Bonapartist cause. 15 progress for the Bonapartists. The first one's 5. I'm going to do the first one. Slightly stronger armed forces is not really a problem. The armed forces are pretty pleased with our overall situation, so I'm not worried about that. We have won our first battle and are on the way to winning our second. So hopefully this war will play out in decent order, and then we can get our Conquest of Algiers event, and then we'll close out the episode. Still working on getting our iron mines built up, still working on getting the necessary government capacity. I'm just going to move these government admins a little bit higher up, because I want to get up to colonial affairs level 2 if I can. And there is the Conquest of Algeria completed. The Proclamation of Algiers. Standing on the deck of the Devastation, flagship of the Mediterranean Squadron, General de Saint-Arnaud announces the end of large-scale military operations in Algeria. The colorful procession of troops slowly snakes its way along Algiers' waterfront. Brightly clad zouaves march lockstep towards the anchored French vessels lining the harbor, carrying the torn battle standards of vanquished Algerian regiments. Behind them, lancers, regulars, and native tirailleurs follow suit. As Jacques Leroy de Saint-Arnaud gazes out on the vast assembly of a French military might from his position on the aft deck, his thoughts are interrupted by the gentle clearing of a throat. "It's the governor, sir. He wants to know what's next on the agenda." Today we salute the heroes of Africa. Extra progress for the Bonapartists. 10% of officers and 5% of servicemen in the whole country become more loyal. Stronger armed forces. Much stronger armed forces. Cool. This also gives us claims on a bunch of other territories, most of which are in Morocco. I think that's I think that's automatic to all of these. Yeah, we get these claims regardless. Wait, hold on. This one we get West Sahara as well. These two. Interesting. So, mostly the same claims though. So first one is happier and stronger armed forces. Second one is subsidized companies to acquire farmland for European settlers. Extra migration attraction, increased progress of the legitimists. And the third, the rule of the saber is at the rule of the saber is at an end. Contact the sheiks. Increase the progress of the Orleanists by 15. 2% of Amazigh and Maghrebi pops in the area become more loyal. I'm going to snag that extra progress for the Orleanists, so we'll do the third one. France claims Sahara and a whole bunch of other territories. So this triggers two new events. The first one is the Algerian departments. The transformation of Algeria from a colonial frontier ruled by the saber to an integral part of metropolitan France has begun. However, as our administration discovered during the conquest, native loyalty is both hard-fought and fickle. In order to properly exploit the many resources of Algeria, we must either bring in a more loyal population base, or we must take drastic measures to ensure the loyalty of the one already here. Will complete if the state regions of Algiers, Oran, and Constantine are fully owned and incorporated with turmoil below 10%, and at least one of the following. The French population of all three states is 20% or more, or the base acceptance of the Maghrebi in France and the Amazigh in France is greater than or equal to 60. So I think the base... Okay, so basically we need multiculturalism to achieve this, otherwise it's just settling French people in here. If we finish this, we get an event called a French Algeria. I'm not in a rush to incorporate this territory. It's a lot of governing capacity, and I don't necessarily need it. Oh my gosh, it's going to take 20 years. Oh, this is going to be a huge drain on the treasuries. I'm going to wait on that at least until the divided monarchist situation is sorted out. Then we have the French Foreign Legion. This will complete if at least 3 states is in North Africa and has a barracks of level 20 or above with 50% or greater workforce occupancy. If so, triggers an event called the French Foreign Legion. So, we'll look to complete those events further on. For now, that is going to be the end of the episode. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.